So let me talk about the earthquake recording instruments in the Philippines. But then a lot of information has been uh, divulged by our colleague from AF Drill. They've been in the business much, much more than we were. So we're a bit young in the industry. I think we've just been here in the earthquake recording instruments for less than 5 years. But let me talk to you about remote monitoring before COVID. So that's what I was doing. That's me 35 years ago. And we were doing remote monitoring. This is in, let me see. This is in Myanmar. So it had to be a long, long tube where you will put in the equipment inside. So that was 35 years ago. 35 years ago and 30 pounds ago as well, I guess. So this one is in Saudi Arabia, another set of equipment. I think this is a rain gauge with the size of the solar panel inside. And this was me in Myanmar. The one on this one is the remote monitoring device. Yes. Take a wild guess. Yeah, in the middle. I said 35 pounds ago, I guess. So I was with some German consultants and the Burmese, my Burmese contact was this guy. So we were just listening to FSK, frequency shift keying sounds using this monitor. So several projects 35 years ago. So just imagine how things have changed recently. So remote monitoring has been my passion, I would say. And now it's becoming very, very simple with Internet of Things. And how is remote monitoring being done right now with the cube? So we have the cube, and this little device is the device which is also being used by Sanlien. It's a device from Lithuania, Teltonika. So we're very, very familiar with that. So we can download the data, you can interrogate what's in the cube. So again, remote monitoring has really gone. It's now very, very simple to do remote monitoring. Let me talk to you about ClicksLogic. ClicksLogic, we started in 2005. We were just a simple repair shop. The repair shop, we were fixing UPSs. Not the big UPSs wherein you make lots of money, but then small 500 VA UPSs that you throw away when the warranty expires. So, but then it's just a matter of thinking what to do. When you are hungry, when you don't have anything else to do, you think of ways to make money. 500 VA UPSs, how do you make money out of it? It has to be a marketing play. You have to think about what is missing in the 500 VA UPS. And what is it? You have to make a very, very efficient setup on how to fix the UPSs. So how did we do it? We changed the way repair was being done. So I just hope that you can learn from my very quick experience here, which I'm sure you will be able to use in your businesses. So we became very efficient with our repair. How? When you have an electronics product repaired, what do? You bring your device to the technician. The technician estimates the item, tells you how much it will cost. Then maybe after a few days, come back and say it will cost more because you have to change some more parts. But what we did, we had to think of something unique. We just had two, two, uh, two prices for each 500 VA UPS model. Why? It was basically a battery replacement or a packaged repair. What does that mean? My inventory will get crazy because the parts will keep on changing depending on what's missing. But the end user will just be so happy in having just two prices. They know what to expect when the device gets fixed. So for a 500 VA UPS that time, maybe it's $100. Change the battery, maybe $20. Change everything else plus the battery, $25. So they know already. So what did that do to us? It became very, very efficient. We can fix so many devices. The clients are just so happy. We were fixing thousands and thousands of units nationwide. So the biggest supermarkets, the biggest food chains became our clients. Next, we came out with a way to resell service. How do you resell service? You resell service since you have two prices per model. Just give them a 20% discount. You can resell the service. So that multiplied my sales team tremendously. So from a small repair shop, what are we doing now? IoT for remote monitoring, my first love. Remote monitoring is my first love. IoT is now new, so it's the IoT for remote monitoring. And in the Philippines, where the power consumption is so high, IoT for facilities maintenance and power saving is now very important. Then, because of remote monitoring, we needed to have a way to have a resilient connectivity. Even if your fiber is not doing so well, even if you have a fiber connection, but fiber is only as good as the connection it gets to. So, you get congestion, you get fiber cuts. What do? You should have a way to come up with a resiliency. And that's what we're good at. We can do LTE backup. We can do LTE bonding. We can do LTE satellite bonding. We can do a lot of combinations because you need resilient connectivity in your remote monitoring. Feel free to ask questions. By the way, I'm very, very technical. I was an electronics hobbyist. I was just talking to Chin. He said, "Charlie, you're a businessman. You don't know anything about electronics." No, I was in grade school. I was a technical guy. I still know how to do component level troubleshooting up to now. Anyway, and part of the communication system, sat phones, and seismic accelerographs, definitely, plus the usual UPS cooling and data centers. We're now doing the big data centers and the cooling systems. So let me talk to you about IoT. For those who are not familiar, let me give you a very, very simple overview because not so many people here are electronics engineers. I'd say more people here are civil and structural engineers. So IoT, very simply, things that collect information, things that receive information, and things that do both. Very, very simple. You will not forget that kind of definition. But then what are the business challenges when you are doing remote monitoring? The legacy challenges. It's complex cabling costs. Sometimes the sensor or the cabling and the installation to the cabling is more expensive than the device itself. high operations and maintenance. IT security. Here comes IT saying that you cannot connect to my system because I may be hacked. I may have a virus in my device. So you just don't connect. And sometimes it takes longer to get IT security approval than to have the device installed. Last but not the least, when you have tight SLAs, you just cannot do that with legacy. So let's talk about what we're doing in the Philippines as far as IoT is concerned. We're not using NB-IoT, we're using LoRaWAN. So from these various devices, it goes to think of this as a cell site, or what we call a gateway. And then from there, it goes to the cloud, and then you can have the visualization and analytics. Very simple. And it goes both ways. It's just not one way, it goes both ways. So by the way, this is the weather station that we're using. Let me take a look at your weather station later. So this is an outdoor air quality monitor. This is a sensor for water level. Do you know how big it is? Cigarette pack. 3.5 years life. You just put it there. These are other devices for IoT. I'm going to talk to you about it later. So where can you use IoT for a building? Energy monitoring, all this stuff, security, definitely earthquake recording as well. And these are the more details on what we're using in the Philippines. Oh, by the way, these devices are made in the Philippines. So we are now becoming a manufacturing hub for LoRaWAN IoT devices. So I invested in this company called PocketWorks 4 years ago, and we are now installing a lot. Let's talk about one of the biggest, or if not the biggest, call center in the Philippines with 110,000 employees. So they now have 48 sites. We installed 1,400 temperature sensors. And from there, we just came out with a manual intervention saying, hey guys, you have to maintain the temperature from 23 to 25 degrees Celsius. Manual intervention, not automatic. Just reading the temperature, making sure that the temperature is maintained. 10% savings. 1 billion pesos a year down to 900 million pesos a year. As soon as we installed all the 1,400 temperature and humidity sensors. And I can do that now in, let's say I need 200 sensors here, I can do that in 2 hours. Because you just have to stick them. Next phase, we will do energy monitoring. Converge is also a huge telecom company in the Philippines. We're now doing remote monitoring. They have 1,800 sites. How did we convince the owner of Converge? We did a proof of concept in 2 days. Now, as we speak, we're installing 300 sites. 2 months, 2-man team, 2 days per site. And another 1,800 sites, 1,000 sites this year. Now, building efficiency, building energy efficiency. So we have a partner, British company, also based in the Philippines. So they did for Dubai, 28.26 savings. And in Dubai Marina, 26.5 savings. In Manila, in the first-class city in Manila, this is what we are doing as far as proof of concept is concerned. We're actually doing the tests right now. But what's interesting, besides air quality and noise pollution, senior citizen tracking, we have not really smartwatches, but just a simple strap, a simple smartwatch-looking device that tracks where the persons with disability are with accelerometer so that we will know if the usual problem, if you are if you are invalid, or even if you're not invalid, if you're old, you slip and fall and die. 2013, I slipped, January. February 2013, I had brain surgery. So that's why I'm quite sensitive to slipping. So I have a smartwatch. I didn't bring my smartwatch, but then my smartwatch always tells me if I slip. But if you have a device that you can strap on your wrist for your elderly that costs less than 750 pesos, that's 375 NT dollars. Is that good enough? I think it is. So we're doing the tests right now in a first-class city in the Philippines. Key takeaways for IoT before I go to ERI. The difference between our company and the big boys like Schneider, like Honeywell, like Johnson Controls, they will always do it big. In our case, we do it very small. Like for Concentrix, we only installed temperature and humidity. Now, they're installing energy monitoring. The next phase is to do, what do you call that? Monitoring of people inside the room. Why? Because when you start correlating all this data, you can get a lot of intelligent data for analysis. So we usually start small. You can get all the analytics, you can reduce waste, and you can decrease that. So these are the key takeaways for IoT. If you want to ask questions on IoT, you can approach me. So let's talk about so this was actually part of my original presentation. It was quite boring. I said I wanted to be a bit more exciting. So what were our experiences on IoT in the Philippines? So to give you a backgrounder, so we have 8,000 casualties, not as bad as in Turkey and Syria. But then we have 20. How many earthquakes does Taiwan have per day? How many? Wow. So not as, that's worse, huh? So we have 20 earthquakes per day. But what are we doing right now? For Clicks Logic specifically, so we started 2018. We're starting to do quite well. So I think we will be doing much more this year. But then let's talk about the experiences that we had with our installations in the Philippines. The OBO, the Office of the Building Official, for each and every city, for each and every LGU, they have different sets of rules. Even if there is a DPWH, the Department of Public Ways, Public Highways, each and every local government unit interprets it depending on, I don't want to talk about it. So you know why they have to make it very confusing for us. So they always talk about budget constraints. And we have to keep on teaching the end users how to use it, what the benefit is for. And there are a growing number of competitors. But what are our successes? Number one, at first, the clients did not believe on a 3-sensor, 1 data logger configuration. Because the first suppliers were doing 1 sensor, 1 data logger. 1 sensor, 1 data logger. For a high-rise building, you need 3 sensors, 3 data loggers. So the security guard, if there is an earthquake, would run around exercising up and down in order to get the data. So some of the local government units finally agreed it has to be a single data logger. But still, other clients or other building officials will insist on the old technology. Remote monitoring, we always say, again, remote monitoring is key. When there is an earthquake of level 6, magnitude 6 and higher, we are supposed to send the data to the building official. So what did the suppliers do? They have to go to each and every site, download the data, print it, and send it to the building official. Last time we did it, we had to submit a 500-page printout. I doubt whether they read it, but you have to submit it. So now, we just download it, email to them. So they're very happy with the remote monitoring capability that we have right now. And we always make sure that our after sales is reliable. We started fixing UPSs, 500 VA UPS. I think we now have the expertise to make it more reliable. And they believe in us. So we now have lots of clients. The LGUs, they are still a bit difficult to deal with, but we're starting to deal with them. I like the partnership with Sanlian. Really, you are a great, great supplier. There are suppliers that just talk to me and ask me for forecasts. You guys, or maybe I'm selling much more. But you guys support us very well. Thank you for that. Let's give a big clap to Sanlian, huh? But then what I like is the increasing interest in RSHD. So we have to keep on pushing. Us Filipinos here, we have, how many companies do we have here represented in the Philippines? 5 or 4? So let's see what we can do together, because I think RSHD is the game changer. So we have to put our heads together and see what we can do. So, again, my wish list, enhance ERI with RSHD and Sandas, maybe more. We have to maybe strategize on how to do it better. Strengthen partnership like this. I like the sexy solution. What's this? The DFOS. What's that? Yeah, I like it. Let's see how we can push it in the Philippines. I hope we can do local calibration. And then, what I really love is for us to collaborate with the other suppliers in order to get a nationwide read on what's happening in the Philippines, because we have a lot of scattered data. And towards the future, again, I want us to consolidate the real-time seismic readings. And I want to find partners here to further our business in the Philippines. So with that, guys, thank you. Do you have any questions?